When you look into the eyes of your pet bird, you likely feel a profound wave of human affection. You see a companion, a family member, a tiny living being that you nurture, protect, and love. Because you provide their shelter, clean their cage, and hand-feed them premium seeds, you naturally assume that they look back at you with a shared understanding of this dynamic. You believe they recognize you as their owner, their human caretaker, or perhaps even their adoptive parent. But the cold, hard reality of avian neurology tells a completely different story. Behind those intense, unblinking eyes lies a biological processing system that is entirely alien to human consciousness. Your bird does not have the cognitive architecture to grasp the concept of a human being. They do not look at you and see a benevolent mammal from an advanced species. In fact, evolutionary biology and forensic animal psychology reveal that your bird completely strips away your humanity the moment you walk into the room. To them, you are something else entirely. Welcome to Bird Secrets, the diagnostic archive where we strip away the fluffy myths of pet ownership to perform a structural, forensic audit on the avian mind. Today, we are breaking down the exact sensory mechanisms, evolutionary instincts, and behavioral data to uncover the raw truth of how your bird truly categorizes you in their world. You aren't their owner, and you certainly aren't a human to them. Let's decode what you really are. To decipher this mystery, we must first look at the sheer physics of avian vision. Humans perceive the world through three distinct color receptors: red, green, and blue. Birds, however, possess a fourth cone receptor that allows them to see directly into the ultraviolet spectrum. This single biological divergence means that when a bird looks at your skin, your hair, and your clothing, they aren't seeing the solid matte colors that you see in the mirror. They are witnessing a glowing, shifting landscape of ultraviolet patterns, hidden spots, and fluorescent textures that are completely invisible to the human eye. Furthermore, their eyes process visual data at a frame rate nearly twice as fast as ours. To your bird, your movements don't look smooth. You are moving in a hyper-detailed, slow-motion sequence where every micro-expression, muscle twitch, and respiratory shift is magnified. Because their visual input is so fundamentally different from yours, they cannot logically group you into the category of mammal. Instead, their ancient brain uses a strict evolutionary checklist to assign you a specific role based purely on survival. The primary role your bird assigns to you is that of a flock member, but with a highly specialized structural twist, you are a giant, flightless resource node. In the wild, a bird's survival depends entirely on the collective security and intelligence of the flock. When you consistently provide clean water, fresh vegetables, and shelter, their instinctual hardwiring does not process this as an act of human charity. Instead, they catalog you as a highly stable, high-ranking companion who has mastered the art of territory defense and resource localization. When your bird grooms your hair, nibbles on your ears, or preens your eyebrows, they are not executing a human style of hugging. They are performing a critical avian ritual known as allopreening. In the wild, this behavior is used to clean hard, to reach feathers, and reinforce social alliances within the hierarchy. By allopreening you, your bird is formally accepting you into their survival unit. They are treating your hair exactly like a patch of specialized feathers, signaling that you are an essential piece of their defensive perimeter. However, this flock dynamic can take a dangerously misunderstood path due to a major cognitive limitation in captive birds. If you live with a single bird and constantly pet them down their back, under their wings, or around their torso, you are inadvertently sending a massive, chaotic biological signal. In the avian language, physical touch outside of the head and neck area is strictly reserved for a reproductive partner. Because your bird cannot comprehend that you are a human being with platonic intentions, their hormones skyrocket. They begin to catalog you not just as a casual flock mate, but as their exclusive, lifelong mate. This is where severe behavioral issues begin to manifest. Your bird will start regurgitating digested food onto your hands or your clothing. To a human, this looks incredibly unappealing, but to a bird, it is the ultimate, high-value sacrifice, offering precious nutrients to their chosen partner. When you later walk away to cook dinner, leave for work, or interact with another human, your bird experiences an intense, agonizing breach of avian contract. They see your departure as a mate abandoning the nest, which triggers severe frustration, screaming fits, and self-destructive feather plucking. They aren't acting out because they are mean, they are acting out because you broke the rules of the species they think you belong to. Conversely, if you do not understand your bird's rigid territorial hardwiring, they will easily categorize you as an invasive apex predator. Birds are prey animals by nature, meaning their baseline state is rooted in deep vigilance. When a human walks directly toward a birdcage with heavy, booming steps, eyes locked straight ahead in a forward stare, the bird's ancient amygdala instantly screams in panic. In the wild, the only creature that moves with a direct, front-facing stare and a straight trajectory is a hunting predator, like a hawk or a wild cat. Humans have eyes placed on the front of their skulls, which is the definitive evolutionary trait of a carnivore. Your bird possesses eyes positioned on the sides of their head, maximizing their peripheral field to scan for danger. When you loom over their cage from a high angle, your shadow mimics the exact silhouette of a swooping bird of prey. If your bird lunges at your hand with a wide-open beak, fans their tail feathers, and emits a sharp, hissing click, they are not throwing a temper tantrum. They are engaging in a high-stakes, life-or-death territorial defense against an existential threat. They are trying to terrify the massive mammal before it decides to strike. The ultimate proof that your bird doesn't see you as human lies in how they actively attempt to communicate with you. They never try to adapt to human vocal structures or mammalian body language. Instead, they project their entire socio-biological blueprint directly onto you. When a parrot mimics your spoken words, they do not understand the linguistic definitions of the vocabulary. To them, those words are distinct, localized flock calls. They notice that when they produce a specific high-frequency sound like hello, a giant resource node moves across the room and drops a piece of fruit into their bowl. They are decoding you like a complex vending machine, using localized vocalizations to manipulate your behavior to ensure the survival of the nest. They are treating your speech patterns exactly like the unique contact calls used by wild flocks to locate one another across dense jungle canopies. At the end of the day, stripping away our human ego allows us to truly appreciate the magnificent reality of the avian bond. Your bird will never understand your job, your finances, your human relationships, or your structural place in the world. They are a living dinosaur, navigating a modern human home using an evolutionary software package that was finalized millions of years ago. When you earn their trust, they aren't loving you as a human caretaker, they are doing something far more extraordinary. They are rewriting their fierce, survival-driven instincts to allow a massive, front-eyed mammalian giant to enter their inner circle, share their resources, and protect their flock. Thank you for tuning in to Bird Secrets. If you want to continue performing a deep, forensic audit on the hidden mechanics of the animal kingdom, make sure to hit that subscribe button, drop a comment with your bird's favorite flock ritual, and we will see you on the next deep dive into the blueprint of nature.